Okay, so if you're making the blanket, you are now going to be carrying straight on with chart 5 because you've already done chart 4 at the end of part 2. So this is just a little sort of starter for the people making the table settings, because the table setting, we're not making placemats for part 3, we're actually going to be making the table runner for the centre of the table, which will spell out ho ho ho. So obviously that now needs to be wider than the placemats, because the placemats were only 77 stitches, but each ho is 48 stitches wide. So I've now started with the foundation chain of 149 stitches, which is exactly the same width as the blanket. I've done my foundation row, so both the chain and the foundation row have been done in my CC3 colour, and then I've done one additional row of back loop double crochets. Obviously you've got your edge stitch and chain at each end, as we've been doing throughout, but there's one more row in the, just a plain row in the CC3 colour that wouldn't be included in the blanket. And I've done yet another plain row, which is row 1 of the instructions for chart 4. Okay, because again that's just another plain row all done in your main colour. So hopefully you understand where I've got there and I haven't confused you completely. So what we're doing now, I'm just going to get you started on the this chart here. If you need more detail and want to see a bit more of the tutorial, just take a look at the end of part 2 where I ran through it for the blanket, but I'll just do basically the berries. We'll just do the berries together and then we can skip to the ho 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 bit. Okay, so berry colour, which is the CC1 colour. I've got my slip knot on my hook. My screen has just gone blank, hold on a second. Okay, technical issue has now been sorted and I can see my pattern again. So right, as I said, I've got my CC1 colour with a slip knot on my hook, and I'm now going to get started on row 2 of chart 4. So as we do every single row, we are starting that with an edge stitch, which is a standard double crochet through both loops, chain, miss the chain from the row before, and now we're going straight in with a back loop double crochet there. So as we've always been doing, the back loop double crochets, so all the double crochets are just worked in the back loops. Okay, so that is before the repeat starts. Now we start our repeat with 5 more. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 back loop double crochets. Okay, so that gives us 6 in total there. And now, as we've done, we did it in part 1 originally, for Santa's nose, the little puff stitch, so our little sort of mini puff stitch, which is our 3 half trebles worked together effectively. So yarn over, still working into that back loop, pick up like so, so that's 2, 3. Okay, so we've got our 7 loops on our hook, and we're just going to pull that yarn through. And as before, I'm not going to seal that in with a chain, because if I do that, that's going to create an extra stitch, and I don't want to confuse you with an extra stitch. Just working the next back loop double crochet will hold all of that in place. Okay, so there we go. So now we're going to end our repeat. So we've got basically, I've now done the first back loop double crochet there. I need 5 more there. So we have 5 back loop double crochets before our puff and 6 afterwards in the repeat. So basically what that means is we've got 6 back loop double crochets at the beginning and end of each row, and then we have got our little puff stitch separated by 11. Yeah, so 6. So here is the 2, 4, 6 back loop double crochets at the end of the first repeat, and then 5 more at the start of the next. Okay. Okay, so I've now just got started on row 3 with my edge stitch the chain, and then that there's a front loop treble before we stop the main repeat. So this is a nice easy repeat. We are basically just going to be doing front loop trebles in all the stitches apart from when we get to our little puff. So we've got now 5 front loop trebles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then to make our little puff stand forward like we did for Santa's nose, we're going to do a front post double crochet, so just around the top of that stitch like so. Okay, so do a double crochet around like that. Okay, and then we start again. We're going to end our repeat with 6 front loop trebles, so make sure you don't miss that first one, that's really close to the puff. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now we're going to start our next repeat with 5 more front loop trebles. 2, 3, 4, 5, and which takes us right up to our puff again, where we're going to do our front post double crochet. Okay, so you just carry on like so till you get to the end, and obviously you've got your chain and your edge stitch right on the end, so carry on and do that. And like I say, you should be now able to carry on with the chart or written instructions for chart 4. If you do want a little bit more help with the video tutorial, then just go take a look at that little bit at the end of part 2 where I ran through it for the blanket. It's exactly the same, apart from you'll be using a different colour for rows 10, 12 and 14. So for our runner, we're going to be using our contrast, our CC3 colour again for rows 10, 12 and 14, but for the blanket they were all done in CC2. Okay, so I've now just got started on chart 5 here, the HoHoHo panel. Just on the first 2 rows, because they're nice and straightforward, just the plain sort of back loop double crochets there, apart from obviously the edge stitch and the chain at each end. So I've got those done. What I've also done, so I've marked, because we've got a 48 stitch repeat for HoHoHo, so each ho is 48 stitches wide. So what I've done, the 48 stitches is exactly equal to 4 of our holly panels, so I've just put a little marker, if you can see here, between the 4th and 5th panels, that stitch right between the 2 there. And then I've also done another 4 there, so we'll know that where these markers are is where our final stitch of each repeat should be falling. Okay, so as always, we're starting with a slip knot on our hook and then a standing double crochet in this first stitch. Then we've got 1 chain, miss the chain obviously, and then they all have a back loop double crochet at the beginning of every row and at the end. So for this part we've always got a back loop double crochet before the main repeat starts. So here we are on row 3, so this repeat now starts with 7 more back loop double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, then we've got a front loop treble, and then we've got 9 back loop double crochets. Now this is where the bottom of our O is going to be for our last ho. So 8, 9, then 1 front loop treble. Then we've got 8 back loop double crochets, so this is between the O and the H. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we can start on our H. So we've got 1 front loop treble, 7 back loop double crochets, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1 front loop treble, 3 back loop doubles, front loop treble, 7 back loop double crochets, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then we've got treble there, and we finish our repeat very nicely in that marked stitch with a back loop double crochet. Okay, so basically you're now going to just repeat all that again. So we're going to start, well, twice more, with 7 back loop double crochets, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so I've now just got started on row 4 with the edge stitch, chain and the back loop double crochet before the repeat. So on this one what we're going to be doing is basically sort of starting to fill in where the letters are going to go. So we'll have some trebles in there and there and there, which will be the start of our O and our H. That'll all become a lot clearer as we go along. So we're now going to start with 8 more back loop double crochets. 1, 2, 6, 7, 8. Then we've got our 9 front loop trebles in here, the bottom of our row. 8, 9, and we've got 10 back loop double crochets, 9, 10, 7 front loop trebles, 6, 7, then we've got 5 back loop double crochet, so this is like in the middle of our H. So then we've got another 7 front loop trebles for the second leg of our H, or the first, as you actually read it, really, isn't it? 4, 5, 6, 7, and then the repeat ends with 2 back loop double crochets. Okay, so we're now right on top of that marker again. You can move the marker up if you wish, but to be honest, after you've done another couple of rows you probably won't need it, because it'll be reasonably obvious, or should be reasonably obvious, looking at the work to see which letter you're on, so you'll know where you are in the chart. Okay, so then it's just a case of now starting again with 8 more back loop double crochets. And I will see you for row 5. Okay, so I've now just got started on row 5 with the usual edge stitch, chain and the back loop double crochet before the repeat. And now row 5 starts, the repeat for it starts with another 4 back loop double crochets. 2, 3, 4. Then we've got 1 front loop treble, and now we've got a run of 15 back loop double crochets. 3, 14, 15, then 1 front loop treble, and then we've got 5 back loop double crochets, 3, 4, 5, and then for the H bit we're now just repeating what we did a couple of rows ago, so that's 1 front loop treble, 7 back loop double crochets, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1 front loop treble, 3 back loop doubles, 1 treble, 7 doubles, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1 front loop treble, and then we complete the repeat but there's another back loop double crochet. Okay, so just carry on, repeat that across, and I'll see you for row 6. Okay, so row 6 is kind of similar to what we did on row 4, where we're basically going to be filling in the bits here for like the O and the 2 legs of the H with trebles, and all the rest will be back loop double crochets. So I've just started with the edge stitch chain and that back loop double crochet before the repeat, as I always do. We've now got another 5 back loop double crochets, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we've got 15 trebles in here, 2, 3, 13, 14, 15, then we've got 7 back loop double crochets, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 front loop trebles, 6, 7, 5 back loop double crochets, 3, 4, 5, 7 front loop trebles, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we're going to end the repeat with 2 back loop double crochets. Okay, so there we go, so just repeat that across as you have been, and I will see you for row 7. Okay, just got started on row 7 here as usual with the bits and pieces before the repeat, and now row 7 starts with an extra 2 back loop double crochets, then we've got our front loop treble, and now we've got 19 back loop double crochets across our O, 2, 3, 17, 18, 19, 1 front loop treble. Now we've got a little bit of square brackets if you're looking at the written instructions again, so this we've got now 3 back loop double crochets, 1 front loop treble, 7 back loop double crochets, 3, 4, 6, 7, and one front loop treble. So we've got to do that, just that bit there, twice. So 3 double crochets, 1 treble, 7 double crochets, 1, 5, 6, 7, 1 treble, and as always we're going to finish our repeat with 1 back loop double crochet. So there we go, just repeat that across now twice more. And I think I can probably leave you there to sort of carry on now. You can sort of see where the letters are starting, your H and your O. Remember, when you get to row 9 or row 8 on the next row, you're going to be leaving a little space in the middle for the sort of center of our row. But yeah, carry on with that. I'll just come back every couple of rows and show you a little photo. Okay, so I've now completed chart 5, my HoHoHo, and I've also now just got started with the first 2 rows of chart 6 because they were just plain back loop double crochets, and then obviously you've just got the edge stitch and chain at each end. But so I've just gone ahead and done that, and I've just got started on row 3 as well. Now you'll notice here I'm actually making the blanket here, so I am using CC2 and my main colour for these rows. But actually, if you're making the placemat, so we can get all of the colours in the placemat, for rows 1, 3 and 5 you'll be using CC3. So for my traditional colourway, that's the French Navy. So anyway, I've now got started, as I said, on row 3 with that initial back loop double crochet before the main repeat starts. And the repeat is really easy. It was literally 11 front loop trebles and then 1 back loop double crochet. So that's all we're going to be doing all the way along, is just repeating 11 front loop trebles and 1 back loop double crochet. So carry on and do that. Because yeah, this is what I probably should have said as well. This is probably tell by looking at it, actually it's a mirror image of chart 4 that we did down here. So in this case we're now doing this bit here, so the other way up, and then we'll do the same with the holly leaves and berries. So anyway, you carry on with your row 3 and I'll see you for row 4. Okay, so row 4 was actually another really nice easy one, where we just basically did a front loop treble into all of the where the back loop double crochets were before, and then but the rest of it is all just plain back loop double crochets. So I've gone ahead and done that, and now start on row 5. Now row 5, if you're doing the placemat, row 5 is your last row where you're going to be using your CC3 colour on here, because from row 7 we'll all be using the CC2, but obviously I'm still using my CC2 because I'm doing the blanket. Okay, so just get started on row 5 with the usual edge stitch, chain, and then we've got a back loop double crochet there before the main repeat starts. So for this one we're going to be doing, the repeat is 1 front loop treble, 1 back loop double, and then we've got 7 front loop trebles. So 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we've got 1 back loop double crochet and 1 front loop treble, and then we end the repeat with another back loop double crochet. So that, oh hold on, that is our repeat. Okay, so just start again, 1 front loop treble, 1 back loop double, and then 7 front loop trebles here. So that is your repeat that you'll be doing across. So what we'll end up with, okay, what we'll end up with, you'll have you've got your front loop trebles sort of in the middle of these sections, and then we've got the little sort of group with a back loop double, front loop treble, back loop double, front loop treble, back loop double, sort of in between. So yeah, carry on along and do that. You may as well do row 6 yourself as well, because that's basically the same idea as we did down here, where you're just doing all back loop double crochets, but wherever you see a back loop double crochet on the previous row, you're just going to fill these in with the front loop treble. So go on and do that, and you can do row 7 because that is just a plain back loop double crochet row again, but this time, well, everyone will be, as I said, everyone will be using CC2. So even if you're doing the placemat, use your CC2 colour, because that's where we're going to then be starting on the holly leaves. Okay, so I've now just started on row 8 here, so I'm just now going to set up the holly with you, and then you'll be able to finish this little chart on your own then. Okay, so I've started with the edge stitch, chain, and the front loop treble before the repeat starts. So now our repeat is 3 back loop double crochets, 3, then 5 front loop trebles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then 3 back loop double crochets, and then we end the repeat with 1 more front loop treble. Okay, so then we're ready to start again the next repeat with 3 back loop double crochets, and then that'll be the 5 trebles again. So this is obviously where our holly leaves are going to start. So on the next row you'll be working your trebles into all of these back loop double crochets, and then the little sort of the holly berries will go inwards like so. So that'll just, like I say, mirror what we did down here.